Welcome to Sweden. The largest country in Scandinavia, where vast nature blends with modern Nordic life. Since the Viking Age around the 8th century, this land developed along trading routes across the Baltic Sea, laying the foundation for important cities and seaports. Here, Sweden is known for the simple cafe culture of fika, along with wild landscapes stretching from forests and lakes to Lapland in the far north, where the northern lights often appear during winter. With more than 100,000 lakes and thousands of islands along its coastline, Sweden offers a journey that combines exploring nature with discovering Scandinavian culture. And that journey begins in the historical and cultural heart of the country. Stockholm. Where Lake Mälaren meets the Baltic Sea. Stockholm grew from a group of small islands and became the center of Sweden as early as the 13th century. Thanks to its position controlling trade routes across the Baltic, the early settlement quickly developed into the capital of the kingdom. Today, the city spreads across 14 islands connected by more than 50 bridges, creating a unique urban landscape between land and water, which is why it is often called the Venice of the North. From the bridges linking the central islands, a typical exploration of Stockholm begins in Gamla stan. Narrow cobblestone streets wind around historic squares like Stortorget, surrounded by rows of yellow, red, and orange buildings typical of Nordic architecture. At the center stands the Royal Palace, with more than 600 rooms and still used today for royal ceremonies. Walking through Gamla stan early in the morning is one of the city's most distinctive experiences, when small cafes begin to open and sunlight reflects across the old stone streets. Just a few minutes walk from the old town, visitors can take a boat to explore the canals around the city or stroll along the shores of Lake Mälaren. From the Monteliusvägen viewpoint on Södermalm Island, the entire Gamla stan skyline appears in the middle of the water, with historic rooftops and church towers creating one of the most beautiful views in Scandinavia. Culture is also clearly visible through midsummer, one of the country's biggest celebrations. Held in late June. People gather in parks and islands around Stockholm to raise the traditional midsummer pole, dance to folk music, and enjoy classic foods such as pickled herring, new potatoes, and fresh summer strawberries. For many Swedes, this is the most important moment of the year. Leaving behind the rhythm of the islands, Our boat moves forward into a maze of countless rocky islets rising from the sea. Stockholm Archipelago. Only about 20 minutes by boat from central Stockholm, a completely different world opens up on the Baltic Sea, the Stockholm Archipelago, the largest archipelago in Sweden. The region stretches about 80 kilometers from the capital toward the open sea and includes more than 30,000 islands and rocky islets, formed after the last glaciers melted around 10,000 years ago. From a distance, granite rocks rise above the dark blue water, mixed with low pine forests and quiet bays, creating the characteristic landscape of the Scandinavian coast. On many small islands, traces of maritime life remain visible through wooden docks, fish storage huts, and small fishing boats anchored along the rocky shore. From the city center, ferries depart from Strömkajen, gradually carrying visitors deeper into the Baltic's maze of islands. One of the first stops is usually Vaxholm, a coastal town known as the gateway to the archipelago. The Vaxholm fortress, built in the 16th century, once protected the entrance to the capital, while today the town's harbor has become a peaceful place to walk, enjoy seafood, and watch sailboats passing through narrow waterways. Along the coast stand traditional red wooden houses with steep roofs facing the Baltic Sea, a familiar image of Sweden's coastal villages. Further out toward the open sea, islands like Grinda, San Am, and Moya offer experiences such as kayaking, cycling through pine forests, or walking along smooth rocky shores where waves meet the land. The Stockholm Archipelago Trail, about 270 kilometers long, allows travelers to explore the nature of the islands through multi-day trekking routes. In August, many harbors celebrate Baltic Sea Day and local fishermen's summer festivals. People gather along the docks, listen to folk music, and enjoy smoked salmon, pickled herring, and seafood sandwiches. Under the long northern summer sunsets, the sight of sailboats gliding past countless rocky islands has become one of the most iconic images of Sweden's coastal tourism. From the Baltic's maze of islands, the journey moves back through time toward ancient stone walls that still tell stories from the medieval era. Visby. On the island of Gotland, about 90 kilometers from mainland Sweden, Visby is one of the best preserved medieval towns in Northern Europe. Founded in the 12th century, the city quickly prospered thanks to its position on important trade routes of the Hanseatic League. The entire town was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995, famous for its long stone walls and more than 40 watchtowers still surrounding the historic center. Passing through the stone gates of the city wall, the inner town reveals winding cobblestone streets climbing gentle slopes toward the sea. Many low stone houses are covered with climbing roses, a detail that has earned Visby the nickname, the City of Roses and Ruins. Among the houses stand the remains of several medieval churches from the time when Visby was one of the Baltic's most powerful trading cities. The most prominent is St. Karen Cathedral, whose limestone walls and Gothic windows have remained standing for more than 7 centuries. One of the most enjoyable ways to explore Visby is to walk along the ancient city walls. The path circles the edge of the historic district, passing watchtowers and offering views down to small gardens and red rooftops below. From the seaward side of the walls, the port of Visby can be seen, once welcoming merchant ships carrying fur, grain, and goods from across northern Europe. In summer, the city becomes lively during Medieval Week, the most famous medieval festival in Scandinavia. For about a week, locals and visitors dress in historical costumes, join craft markets, watch sword fights, and enjoy medieval music performances. During this time, the atmosphere feels like a return to Visby's prosperous 14th century. Would you prefer to explore Visby in the quiet morning or during the vibrant medieval festival? Leaving the legendary cobblestone streets behind, the coastal road leads us toward a strange landscape where the land itself continues to slowly rise from the sea each year. High Coast. Along Sweden's northeastern coastline, where the Gulf of Bothnia meets ancient rocky hills, the high coast, known in Swedish as Höga Kusten, stands out as one of the most remarkable landscapes in Scandinavia. The region was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2000 because of a rare geological phenomenon known as post-glacial rebound. When the massive ice sheet melted about 10,000 years ago, the land slowly rose nearly 300 meters, creating steep coastal cliffs, rocky islands, and pine forests stretching along the shoreline. The natural heart of the region lies within Skuleskogen National Park, where ancient forests meet rugged granite coastlines. At the center of the park is Slottsdalsgraven, a dramatic rocky canyon considered one of the high coast's most striking geological features. From the trails along the hillsides, visitors can see scattered islands across the waters of the Gulf of Bothnia. One of the most recognizable landmarks here is Skuleberget, a mountain rising about 286 meters above the nearby bay. Along its slopes, traces of ancient shorelines can still be seen. evidence of how the landscape has changed over thousands of years. Today, Skulaberget is also known for its Via Ferrata route, where visitors can climb the cliffs using fixed cables and steel ladders. The High Coast also attracts nature lovers through the High Coast Trail, a hiking route about 135 kilometers long that passes through forests, rocky ridges, and protected natural areas. Besides hiking, visitors often kayak between small islands and fishing villages such as Ovon and Bonham, where traditional wooden houses remain quietly beside the docks. A modern landmark of the region is the Höga Kusten Bridge, the longest suspension bridge in Sweden spanning the Ångermanland River. From viewpoints near the bridge, the entire high coast landscape unfolds with forests, rocky hills, and the wide waters of the Gulf of Bothnia, a view that captures the wild beauty of northern Sweden. As the towering cliffs slowly fade into the horizon, the scenery opens into wild valleys where the night sky will soon begin its own luminous dance. Abisko National Park. In the far north of Sweden, about 100 kilometers from the town of Kiruna, Abisko National Park lies in the Lapland region, where the low mountains of Scandinavia meet the glacial lake Torneträsk. The park was established in 1909 and is famous for its location within a rain shadow zone, which creates dry and often cloud-free skies, ideal conditions for viewing the northern lights during winter. The landscape here reflects the subarctic environment with wide valleys, low birch forests, and glacial rivers. One notable feature is Abisko Canyon, where glacial waters have carved deep into the rock, forming a narrow gorge with smooth stone walls shaped over thousands of years. From here, trails lead toward Lake Torneträsk, Sweden's sixth largest lake, where the wide water surface reflects the northern sky. This area is also the starting point of the famous Kungsleden Trail, a route stretching more than 440 kilometers through Lapland. The first section from Abisko to Abiskojär, about 15 kilometers long, is often considered one of the most beautiful parts of the trail as it passes through glacial valleys and clear mountain streams. From December to March, visitors travel here to watch the northern lights. One of the best places is the Aurora Sky Station on the slope of Mount Nuolja, where a cable car brings visitors up the mountain to observe the night sky under almost perfect viewing conditions. The Lapland region around the park is also closely connected to the culture of the Sami people, the indigenous community that has lived here for centuries. Their traditions are tied to reindeer herding, and during winter, herds of reindeer can often be seen moving across the snowy valleys. Visiting this region offers not only Arctic nature, but also a chance to learn about the distinctive life and culture of the Sami. After chasing the northern lights in this harsh Arctic landscape, the journey turns south again to rediscover urban life and the everyday traditions of the local people. Gothenburg. As Sweden's second largest port city, Gothenburg has long served as an important gateway to Northern Europe's maritime routes. Founded in 1621 under King Gustav II Adolf, the city was originally planned with canals and fortifications to protect trade along the coast. After more than 4 centuries, many of those canals still run through the city center, creating an urban landscape closely connected to the water. Haga is the historic district that best reflects the city's past, with low wooden houses dating back to the 19th century. Here, visitors often see locals pausing to enjoy fika, Sweden's well-known cultural habit of sharing coffee and pastries during relaxed conversations. In small cafes around Haga, large cinnamon buns called kanelbullar are commonly served alongside hot coffee, creating a simple yet very Swedish everyday experience. The city is also known for canals that cross the central district, originally inspired by Amsterdam in the 17th century. Boat tours through these waterways pass under low bridges and along historic squares, offering one of the most popular ways to explore the city. Along the canals, old brick warehouses from the port era have been transformed into restaurants, museums, and cultural spaces. Fiskekårka, the fish market built in 1874 with architecture resembling a church, is a well-known place to enjoy fresh seafood from Sweden's west coast. Nearby, visitors can also see the Gothenburg Opera House and the red and white tower Läppstiftet, one of the city's modern landmarks. If you visited Gothenburg, would you prefer enjoying fika in a historic cafe or walking along the city's canals? As the relaxed afternoons with coffee come to an end, the journey takes a more adventurous turn toward a village where everything is carved from pure ice. Jukkasjärvi. In the snowy landscape of Lapland, the small village of Jukkasjärvi lies beside the Torne River, a glacial river flowing from the Scandinavian mountains toward the Finnish border. The settlement was established in the 17th century as a trading point for the Sami people and northern merchants. In the Sami language, the name Jukkasjärvi means meeting lake, reflecting its historic role as a gathering place along winter trade routes. The village is best known for the Ice Hotel, a unique structure first created in 1989. Each winter, when the Torne River freezes, thousands of clear ice blocks are harvested to rebuild the hotel. Artists from around the world design the art suites with different shapes and lighting, turning the hotel into both a place to stay and an exhibition of ice sculptures. Besides the seasonal hotel, the area also features Ice Hotel 365, a permanent structure kept frozen year-round using solar-powered cooling systems. This allows visitors to experience the icy environment even during summer, when Lapland has nearly 24 hours of daylight. Activities around the village reflect life in the Arctic. Visitors often try husky sledding, reindeer sleigh rides, or walks through snow-covered forests. In local restaurants, traditional Lapland dishes such as elk and reindeer meat are prepared using ingredients from the northern wilderness. On clear nights from December to March, this area is also an excellent place to observe the northern lights across the Arctic sky. After traveling through historic cities, quiet archipelagos, and the frozen landscapes of Sweden, what remains is more than just scenery. It is the feeling of a country where nature and everyday life exist in harmony, from the canal streets of Stockholm to the small fishing villages of Bohuslän and the northern skies of Lapland glowing with the aurora. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so we can continue exploring more remarkable places around the world together. And if you ever have the chance to visit Sweden, what experience would you want to try first? See you in the next video, where another destination and its stories are waiting to be discovered.